Just a Thought, a show that starts with a simple premise and explores how different people view different subjects. The greatest philosophies, the most revolutionary changes, and the greatest inventions. And all of them started with just a thought.
What it do, good Sunday night at this good old 7 p.m. Good evening, Wanda Smith. Thank you for joining us in the chat. Excuse me. I'm trying not to fall asleep, y'all. Man, we got about hours. So, what it do? We are from the 202 to the A10. And for those who are not familiar with why we are on A10, it's because we believe that there are a lot of things that are happening in the nation's capital that we can link to what's happening in Flint. That's why we hooked up with Mick and the crew, or Otis, as we like to call them. If you have not, we got some rules to engagement in the chat. Once again, thank you for joining us. First and foremost, first order of business is make sure you hit that like button. Second of all, if you're not a member or you haven't subscribed, don't know why, but please make sure that you do that too. And then also, third, please make sure that you share. Don't keep it to yourself. You know, we got a couple of things that we like to ponder with everybody out here. Well, maybe not everybody, but just those who are privy to the A10 News Media Group. So make sure you share. Make sure you like. Make sure you subscribe. And make sure you share. Honor, what it do?
Good evening. I'm over here laughing because when the thing started, we was both froze. We was looking like this. So I was dying laughing because you live and your computer was not working. So that is what happens when you go on these shows, and it's funny. So I had to laugh. I don't know what's going on. You tell me. You
Well,
tell me. That's where I'm at. I mean, I know a lot of what's going on, but I don't want to be the lead in what's going on.
so why don't you tell the
So
people
ask me a question.
what you did in a week? Why don't you tell the people what you've been doing? Because I feel like that, you've been on here, but I feel like people still don't know, what the week of honor entails.
Take care of 2 kids. um, well, this week I could say was a good week. It's a lot going on in DC, so it was a good week because I was able to experience some free entertainment. Thank to Yogi G. She told me about an event, and I signed up for it. Signed up for 2 events. Looked up the one event she told me, ended up finding another event. So I was happy about that. It was at Busbo and Poets. I don't know if Busbo and Poets is everywhere. Count me wrong. But anyway, Busbo Poets is a place where vegan food is served, and it's a place where poetry and political conversation and pretty much take conversation is that. And a lot of artists, poets come out. It was fun. So I got to meet Amanda Seals, which I met before, but I got to see her, and that was very interesting. And then I got to see who I like a lot. He's on Zateo, Hassan Mendy, and those were very exciting. Those were 2 days apart. And then with me, with my advocacy, PTO, just those things, like just all around the community, just learning about the different things that are going on in our city. That's what I did this week.
Word, that's dope. And I'm glad that you was able to make it because I was in class. And man, it's finals time, good people. And like I said, I'm paying this amount of money so that I can share the information so that you don't have to do plantation time to expand your mind. But if just so, because Mickey has told us that people are not quite familiar with how DC runs, and so I thought we'd spend some time to break it down because it's 2026 and in DC, man, it's the Titanic. I don't know what kind of meeting our council and our mayor had, but everybody seems to be jumping ship and trying to go for better or just going somewhere to rest it off. And I'm not quite sure if that's a good sign or bad. I haven't advocated for some of these people to roll out, but it was the way that they did it that got me feeling like, yeah, it might be something coming down the water that we're not prepared for. But one of those things is DC has decided to change the way that we traditionally vote. I think in most states, I might be a little boisterous to assume, but I know that New York has recently adopted or maybe have been doing ranked choice voting. And so now it has percolated its way over into our neck of the woods. And we're supposed to be rolling this out in 2026. I know there's some controversy amongst us Washingtonians and DC natives about how we feel about ranked choice voting, but I thought we would run through what ranked choice voting is and see some different perspectives on it. So with that being said, DC is a city that desires to be a state. We are a southern town that has home rule, and we were gifted, I guess, if that's how the council feels. I mean, how Congress feels about it. Home rule, so that means that we were able to govern ourselves enough to be able to vote for a mayor and have representation in council, of which we have 13 council members. And then we have the ANC commissioners, which is our advisory commissioners that are located per ward, per sector, and all of those people come together to bottom up the concerns of our communities. So I thought it would be great to just put face to experience. So Mick, if you can give me the roll call picture of our council. Word. So as you can see, some of our council members are a little ancient. They have been on there since the beginning of time, I feel. And we're going to start from left to right with the nice Wahite gentleman in the corner to your left, perhaps. That is our chairman of the council. His name is Phil Mendelson. Oh, Phil has been in there for a while. I think he's been in there since maybe the 90s. I got to go back and read my book. But next to him, we have DC's own son, Kenya McDuffie, another one of our at-large council members who had shifted one time to go run for our attorney general spot, but he didn't have all his credentials that he needed to be able to do so. And so instead of him getting back into his Ward 5 council member spot, he weaseled on into at-large council member. And then next to him would be our Anita Bonds, who is our another at-large council member. And we have the gentleman next to her, the other bald head gentleman, who's black, just in case you can't see. He's Robert White. He's another one of our homegrown heroes. Pause on that. So let me just go back a little bit. So let's start from our wonderful chairman of the council, Phil Mendelson. If you follow me down to the gentleman that I named, Kenya McDuffie, that is one of our representatives who is in the streets. They're saying that he's going to be running soon for our mayor position. He hasn't made an official announcement, but that's one seat that will possibly be open for someone to take over. And then we just found out yesterday that our other at-large council member, who is next to him, Anita Bonds, that I introduced you to, she also will be leaving council, which leaves another at-large seat vacant. And then we have Robert White, who's next to her, who is also leaving our council to go. He was used to run for our mayoral candidacy, but he said, forget that, we're going to go to Congress because I feel like I could do it better in there. Then we have another at-large member, the lady next to Robert White, who is Christina Henderson. Under her, back under Phil, we have Brianna Nadeau. She's leaving. So now I think we're up to 1, 2, 3, 4 people. The person next to her is Brianna, I'm drawing a blank. Brooke Pinto. And we talked about her before and her being linked to Kennedy money. And She's a Democrat. She's a Republican dressed up as a Democrat. I said it, only my views, nobody else's. And she's leaving too to try to go for Congress. And then we have Fruman next to her. Janice Lewis George is next to Fruman, and she's also running for our mayoral candidacy. Under her, we had under Breonna Nadeau, we have Zachary Parker. We have Charles Allen next to him. Wendell Felder next to him. And then the last but not least, our infamous federally case holder, our great council member, Ward 8, Trayon White. So a lot of moving parts, but this makes up our governing body in the District of Columbia. As I said, we have 4 at-large members, and we have representatives for all 8 wards here in the District of Columbia, and they are all governed and kept in line by the number one bald-head man, the Monopoly man himself, Phil Mendelssohn. All right, are we all checked in? We all checked out? Everybody following suit. So, why is this important to know how many seats we have that are vacant? Because once again, we are the District of Columbia, aka the nation's capital. And if it can happen here, just like in New York, it can happen anywhere. And so while we have this brand new ranked choice vote, and some people feel that ranked choice voting for us in the District of Columbia are going to be a great thing because of the fact that it allows people, it will make the candidates work a little harder. Towards getting people's votes and actually like showing up. So that's why I think a majority of people were very supportive of it. But the opposite side to it is a lot of people in our nation's capital still don't have a clear understanding about what ranked choice voting is. And it seems to be a very popular movement that is happening in many cities and states. So I thought that we would take some time here in 810 News Media Group land to review the tapes on what that means. So, Anna, you got any input before we go into the videos on what is ranked choice voting? Word. All right. So, Mick, hit me with the last video that I sent you. Can we get that going with the little? I think that's a rabbit, but it says new ranked choice voting and it has the blue graph on it. What's up, Iron? Nice to see you in the chat. Thank you for joining us. And Felicia Martinez, hey, thank you for joining us. Has Otis fallen asleep? See, you know, they say don't work with kids and don't work with, I don't know. But Otis, where are you? Hello? B. Marie, how do you do? Thank you, Otis. We don't have no sound. Or is it just me? Can you hear Anna?
Yo, I didn't want to get a strike. It had music in the background.
Oh,
yeah.
So I thought that only stood for like when it was like regular music.
You sure? Okay, we're gonna find out. Yeah, I thought it was all of it that because when it be copywritten, that's how I just got. I had to do some. We had to edit some stuff out off the. I had with what was it? Just I forgot what video Brother Elliot just sent me.
Yeah, you can't have no music, not even a touch of it.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, no, that's why I took the song out. That's what I was back here while you was dogging Otis out.
I wasn't dogging Otis. Communication is everything. I love Otis.
For sure. I got you.
With dead air. I didn't want people to think I had lost my mind.
For sure.
Okay, well, damn. Sorry, folks. Note the Yogi G. Find something without music in it. Okay, word. So let's go for. I hate to start off with this. I swear. But let's go for the rigged choice voting.
All right, let
It
me go
makes
back
my
to
heart
my
sad
camera.
while I find another one without music. Well, while we at it, a question to the chat: does anyone in the chat have a city or state that they're from that uses ranked choice voting, or have you guys heard of ranked choice voting before? I'm interested to know. Does that other video have music in it too, Mick? I don't remember it having it.
So that's what I was listening for. I'm finna put it up now.
Okay.
A new spaceport at one of 4 recently settled Martian bases
No,
and
not
are
that one, Mick.
to determine its location. Of
It's the one that says rigged choice voting. All right, word. Felicia Martinez says, Yogi, this is the first time I have heard of it. Well, I'm glad to be the first one to bring it up for you. By chance that it may cross your path. Wanda Smith said, I have not heard of it. Listen, up until now, up until last year when we were voting, or this year, I can't remember, it's all running together. I had not heard of it either. What is this? The Hex, what's the type word? The Hexworth, Hex, what's the Project 2025 people on it? Hedge funds,
Say
is
what you
that?
do.
This foundation.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So this is them people and their perspective on ranked choice voting. While I go in the background and try to find something else that doesn't have music to explain ranked choice voting.
Sneed with the Honest Elections Project. I'm Trent England with Save Our State, and we have been working hard to guarantee that we have honest and fair elections. Some people want to radically change elections with a new, confusing process called ranked choice voting, which should really be called rigged choice voting, because it disenfranchises voters and can lead to political activists trying to game the system to allow marginal candidates to win elections. Instead of just voting for one candidate, their top choice in a race, voters are forced to rank all the candidates from their first choice to their last choice. Then those preference votes are counted, and if no candidate wins more than 50% of the vote, officials begin rounds of elimination. Candidates with the least support are eliminated, and the voters who selected that candidate as their number one choice or top choice automatically have their votes changed to their second choice, and another round of vote tabulation occurs. This process continues until one of the candidates ends up with a majority, but the winning candidate may be the second, third, fourth, or even last choice of most of the voters who initially cast ballots.
in a recent local California school board election using ranked choice voting, that's exactly what happened. But because ranked choice voting is so complex, nobody caught the mistake, and the wrong winner was certified and installed in office after multiple rounds of vote counting. It took an outside audit to finally uncover the truth, and now the real winner has to sue to be recognized. That's just one problem with ranked choice voting. It also takes more time for voters to rank all of the candidates in a race and to fill out their ballots. That means longer lines at the polls. The ballots themselves are more complicated to fill out, creating more room for errors and mistakes that may get mail-in ballots thrown out. It requires more complicated and expensive voting equipment and puts more strain on poll workers who have to manage a much more complicated election system.
There's evidence that it discourages people from voting in the first place. And if voters don't rank all of the candidates in an election, their ballots run the risk of being thrown out and not counted in later rounds of vote tabulation. It took 8 rounds of vote tabulation in the New York City mayor's race in 2021 over 2 weeks before the winner was determined. But the votes of more than 140,000 voters were thrown out and not included in the final count because they hadn't ranked all of the candidates in that race. It's no wonder then that some places have tried ranked choice voting only to repeal it. Aspen, Colorado experimented with ranked choice voting in 2009, then voted overwhelmingly to get rid of it after only a single election. Voters in Alaska are organizing a campaign to repeal ranked choice voting there, which barely passed in a referendum election in the first place. And in Utah, where state lawmakers have allowed cities to experiment with ranked choice voting, many are expressing serious concerns that ranked choice voting is a bad process that doesn't deliver on its promises and implements a confusing, chaotic voting system.
Voters want elections to be easier, more secure, and more transparent.
Ranked choice voting makes voting harder and is the wrong choice for our elections.
Ranked choice voting is a solution in search of a problem.
There we go. Heritage Foundation. Yeah. So I wish we could have started with the other video that was just not so heavily biased in the outcomes, and also the source. But I know that it does echo some reflections of people's feelings about what the process of ranked choice voting could potentially do when it comes to how people turn out or comprehend what it is. So I'm gonna open the floor to Anna to see what your thoughts are on it.
I'm going to ask you, because you asked the question, do you know the states who have ranked choice voting?
No, that's why I asked. I know New York has it. That one I know for sure. But if you give me a second, then I can look it up too.
No, don't look it up. There's no point in looking it up. It's all right. So what you just put was Heritage video up, and you see they talked about one state. So another place is we recently had a vote which was in Arlington, and they used ranked choice voting. They were a city, and of course they had some issues, and sometimes they call it spoiler votes. Spoiler votes sometimes is used as another word, basically ballots that weren't accounted for. That first video you were trying to put up, were you trying to show them how the ranked choice voting works when they go to the ballot, or what was that video about? That's the question I have.
It was showing the process of how it works.
Okay. So pretty much it's only a couple states, so you already knew New York, but actually in New York in 2021.
You have Maine, Alaska, Maine, DC now, Hawaii. You have California, Colorado, New Mexico, Utah, and Virginia.
So they don't have that. They did have it. They don't have that.
They have.
So they don't have it. They used it before. Currently, right now is New York. DC will be the next one because it takes funding for it. Currently, the Republicans, if you do your research, the Republicans now have it where they might put it on the floor to actually not be able to be a thing to be used. Because of actually is a case in 2021 with Mayor Adams actually, where they were proven that this conversation is really deep because you really need, first you have to teach the people how it works. What is the ranking of it? How does it work when people go to, before you establish your thought on it. So for me and my thought of it, because I'm versed on it, it's a give or take. But for DC, this is something new. This was given to the voters in 2024 on the primary. So if you're a registered Democrat or Republican, it was actually in the primaries, it was actually on your vote for Initiative 83. There were some Dems that actually put no, and they raised some money, but they didn't raise enough money for no on Initiative 83. So they fell through the ranks, but actually the Republicans, because they have the House, because they have the Senate, they're actually putting it up. Hopefully if it goes through, it goes through. If it doesn't, it doesn't. However, we're here. But all of our council who she showed you earlier have now voted to fund it, because it's one thing to be voted for us to use it, but then the other thing is, can we afford it? Can we use this? Can we afford it as a city? And as you see what's going on with inflation, with our $1.3 billion that was taken, but Muriel Bowser was able to be very magical with getting some of the money. We at least spent $800 million of that $1.3 billion that was ours that was put. So we probably have like some money that was able to maneuver. However, our council members, every last one of them, is an article that I put on my Facebook page. Some of y'all are my friends on Facebook that can show you kind of like some of the people that were against it. So for instance, they might have been against it, but they voted for the money on there. Anita Bonds, who's an at-large member, Wendell Fender, who was Ward 7 council member, voted for that, was not for it, still voted for it, but he showed his advocacy on it. And I think Ward 8 was the other person that was speaking about it. The rest pretty much it pretty much was voted in. And so where we're at now is the educational piece. And so when we talk about ranked choice voting, we're still in a space where we're learning how it works. Now, am I for? Now, this is my personal opinion. Am I for it? No, I'm not. Proven fact of things that I've read and research and history of things that I've seen, but we're here and we're going to be dealing with this. So second of all, with this ranked choice voting, we're going to be dealing with is the educational piece. So I always talk about the displaced, the disabled, and the disadvantaged. And one thing about ranked choice voting, it is very good for people that tend to have education background. So if you're a person who has a reading disability or disabled in your intellect, or if you're disabled, or if you have a disadvantage, you're bilingual, you don't speak English, or you're a senior, which means now you have to start all new and learning how this thing works. You have to read all this literature. Right now, currently in DC with this ranked choice voting, the DC Board of Elections does not have enough employees. So hopefully, if they could raise this money with this campaign, they will start in January, they will be able to get some money. So I don't know what you know, what your biases are, or what you think. I'm talking about the people in the land of watching us. But for me, it's a lot of conversation on it. But I challenge everyone to read up on it, because you never know, it might come to your city. You never know. But right now, the vote was to fund it. It was funded. And so right now, the educational piece is where they got to raise the money, look for money to be able to educate, like I said, the disadvantaged, the disabled, and the displaced. All right, Yogi G.
Well, I'm interested to hear what you feel like the pros and cons are of this new way of voting in DC.
Well, it would be a pro if we were a state. We're not a state, so that's where it's hard for me to say it's a pro. As far as pro, the thing that Initiative Yes said when they were going around was, oh, everyone who pays taxes gets to participate. But I'm sorry, this initiative wasn't pushed by people like me, or pushed like people whose income is under 100,000. And when I say like me, meaning how I present myself, how I look, the minorities, the people with language barriers, the people, well, I'm above. However, I was there at one point. People that make under a certain amount, it doesn't represent them. And this was able to be pushed to people to be able to allow DC for the first time ever for people to be able to be voted on that usually are not voted on in DC, because DC used to be Chocolate City, but it's not Chocolate City no more. So the reality is, one of the things, the pros is it allows people who you call transient, who you call the newcomers coming into the city, are now able to play a role in being voted in. And as you see right now, when we look at all of the candidates that are running from mayor to Congress to shadow representative to at-large to council members, ANCs will not be affected by this. I just wanted to tell you that. ANCs, because ANCs only have 2 people that usually run for it, so they will not be pressured by the ranked choice voting. But anyone else like SBOE, anyone running for these positions. And
SBOE
so usually
Board of Education, for those who are not familiar with the acronym.
So anyone who has more than your rank 5 candidates in it, and so basically The pro of it is that supposedly the verbiage that they were passing around is that every taxpayer can pay. But to me, that doesn't mean anything. I believe in a two-party system. I do believe people have a right to vote independently, but there's a reason for this. And until we can prove that this is a good fix, especially when we have people that get into office illegally who call other people illegal, this is what scares me about it. So it's hard for me to say a con when people who are not housed will be affected by this even more, because this money that is now being used has now been taken from other entities that could have been used to house people, to could have been able to do other programming in DC. So we don't know where this money is going to be pulled from, but I do know we don't have no money as far as I'm concerned.
Well, I won't state publicly whether I'm for or against it because I don't want to get my head chopped off for my views. But I will say that I think that this is something similar to what we saw with the primary elections with Trump, and how people were just very vexed with what they were dealing with right now with the two-party system and wanting to see some change. And I think that sometimes people are willing to burn it all down for the sake of it. Not saying it's right, um, but it is very much. Um, it reminds me very much of the primary elections, and being as though I am close with some of those people who were pushing the initiative and just having some conversations with them, and then also kind of seeing them talk to people in the community about it. I can agree that there wasn't a great space of like really educating people about it and what it would mean and the outcomes for us as a city. But I know that the sales pitch primarily was that now we don't have to commit to it being just strictly a two-party system. That there would be availability for other people to have opportunities to run that wouldn't originally be able to, or wouldn't normally be able to run because of the two-party system, and the limitations with that. So uh, that's just a couple of things that I wanted to highlight as far as like a system that we're being introduced to in the city, and just kind of get people familiar with the landscape of the District of Columbia and how we are kind of divided. As you heard Anna say, we have different agencies, and one of those is our State Board of Education. It also has an official race. And then we have our ANC commissioners who also are part of the official race. But I think I heard Anna say that they will not be affected by ranked choice voting. So I don't know. I guess chat, does it sound like it would be something that would be beneficial in your neck of the woods? How would you support it if it came into your area? Yeah, that's all I have for this evening's conversation. What would you like to pivot to, Anna?
No, we could stay there. I mean, just your subject. We could stay there. There's a lot about it. I just want to know where your thoughts are. So, like, you
Those
put
were
the
my
video
thoughts.
up, but no, you didn't really talk about your thoughts. Meaning, like,
No, I
what
said
you
I
know
wouldn't.
about it
I
is what
would
I'm
not.
trying.
I would not say my personal feelings on it because I don't want to be crucified. But I want to introduce people to something that's coming into the District of Columbia, and I share what I know about it from being friends with some people who were out here pushing it to introduce it to the community, and what I heard from some community members who were signing those petitions about why they were supporting it, as being somebody who worked hand to ballot. There was an overwhelming support for this initiative. So I think we just kind of in that space. That's why I made mention about how the primaries,
Is it me
black
going in?
people, you're a little blurry. She's stuck. But like how people got upset with the primaries, people were tired about what the Democrats were or were not doing. And so I think in DC, we are subjected to the same thing. We have a lot of instability when it comes to housing
Exactly.
prices, the job opportunities. A lot of people are upset
Mickey.
about how things are going in DC. We see you, Anna. Anna, we can see you.
What's up, Bond?
Okay. Did I go out?
No, you still on here?
Did I go out?
No, you still here?
Then who went out? Then who went out? Because I didn't see Yogi G at all.
Yo, you froze for a little bit and then you came back.
Okay, that's what it was. So I didn't hear nothing you said. So what I was trying to get from you was it's not what your opinion is or whatever, but because you were close to people who pushed this, what were they telling you? How were they pitching this to you?
That's what I was saying, is that it was pitched as an opportunity for those who normally are put on the ballot. Because what we know about DC is we have old DC versus new DC. And we got a lot of gatekeepers. And they personally select who they want to go into office. We see it time and time and time again, the same old people coming up. And in this case, a lot of people were upset because look at the conditions that we're in with our housing instability, with the things that are coming out of the school system. So people were pissed. So you tell people that they got an opportunity to put some people on the ballot that's not normally on the ballot and they can't be pushed out, and that's what they're going to go for. Like I said, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, we're here now and we shall see. And I don't think that it's by happenstance that we now have, how many people did I count? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people out of 13 that are now jumping ship from council, including our mayor is 7.
Well, that's another reason for that. That's a whole nother show. That's a whole nother show for that one.
I like to read the tea leaves, and in saying reading the tea leaves, it sounds like they try to leave our ass on the Titanic. So that's the only things that I have about ranked choice voting. And once again, I don't know if anybody feels any special way about it in the chat. Chat's kind of quiet tonight, so that's all I got.
I must be having technical issues on my side, but I'm praying. I can't believe I'm about to say what I'm saying, but I'm praying the Republicans do put that on the floor. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm praying they put that on the floor because this is something I feel we were not ready for. I'm not saying that it could not work, but I'm saying we're not ready for it. So here it is, especially when a city. Can y'all still hear me? Because it seemed like something. Oh, you shut your camera off. That's what it was. Okay. Especially when we're in a situation where every day you hear either someone new running or people that are just coming out of the race. Then you hear the rumors of, did you know that DC is emergency? And I'd be like, what? But those are like just conversations you hear around here. My concern is for the people in DC, especially for me, with people whose education was taken from them. Anyone in DCPS that was here for the last 25 years has been affected. So I feel sorry for those people and the education that will come out. And hopefully people will learn the importance of really reading because what's going to end up happening, these candidates are going to have to pick an alternative candidate for them. They're not, if they're smart, they will, because what's going to happen is most candidates say, vote for me, vote for me, vote for me. But when ranked choice voting, just like Adams did in New York, he said, vote for me. He said, vote for me. And what happened? Everyone put all his constituents, put him. And so what happened with ranked choice voting, when it came to the second round, because he didn't make it the first round, he was then out of the race. And so sometimes you need to make a deal with another opponent and say, hey, if we both agree, we could say vote for me, but make this your second choice. So they both can make it onto the second round, because sometimes that first round does not decide. The second sometimes decide, sometimes the third. But guess what? When they're supposed to know who the candidate is, it's not going to be like that. So we had a meeting with Monica, who is the DCBOE executive director. I met with her, asked her a lot of questions about that. She was very informative, but she basically said it might be 10 days to 15 days before they tell us who the person is. So it's not going to be like it was before. You get to know who your candidate is. New York is a great example. I don't have enough time to go over you what happened in New York. But even with this new Zoran Mandami, because no one shared to say vote for this person. So what happened is this person didn't get in. Actually, the way it's looking, actually, however, was voting, and because people don't understand works, people can vote for me. But new people in. In New York, the prime example. That's against Zoran Mandami, but this is a reality of what ranked choice voting is. I know the people that you know that pushed it. Even our shadow senator pushed it. I'm not mad at them because they pushed it. They looked at another way where we can get people who've come into the city, at least been here for like 20 years, 30 years, to possibly get a chance. Because like you said, the gatekeepers pick and choose who they want. But also the gatekeepers have been, which I've heard you say, and it's okay. You said, I want someone who's a native Washingtonian to be in position. But with this ranked choice voting, it's a possibility a native Washingtonian will not be in position. Well, we'll see, because it's going to allow 5 rounds. So we'll see who will get in. Now, when I was sitting in that meeting, that lady basically said she's 90 years old and she runs a nonprofit called Women in Politics. And she said it plain and simple. She said in the room, she said, Black people, get ready. We always been having a Black mayor. We always been having Black council, but this might be a time we might not have a Black mayor. And you just stated on the show today that they gatekeep. Sometimes they don't do what they're going to say they do, and they keep each other. So we don't know. It might be an opportunity to get a transient person in office and change things around and really give for the people that've been here and haven't been receiving. Or it could be a give and a take. My thing is more of the educational piece. My bias is not, we can't do it. My bias is, are we ready to do it now? People have not learned. And so what's going to happen when it's time, when we're going to have so many opportunities to try to find out who these people are. Every day we hear someone saying I'm running, and every other day we hear someone saying I'm stepping down. So I'm scared. I'm being honest with you. So I don't know. Is DC taking over and we just don't know? That's why they're all running.
That's just where I'm landing. I told you my temple hat and strapped and ready to go. Listen, I've never, the part that will put me on the boat of being scared along with you really has to do with the fact that, one, we have a new electoral system that, to your point, has not been fully rolled out to educate the community completely about how it works, let alone if it will be really beneficial for us as a city. But then also the fact that our council members are leaving, and they've been in office for probably as long as Eleanor Holmes Norton, who didn't even want to leave office, right? And it's even in all her glory of being one of our elders.
None of them said they were going to leave. None of them said they were going to leave.
And so now we have
all of a
everybody,
sudden,
almost everybody jumping ship, and we also are still fighting for us to maintain home rule. So it is a little scary for us here in the nation's capital. And once again, if you think that it doesn't affect you because you don't live here, I'd like to say this is your nation's capital. So I hope you're listening intentionally and intensively, because we don't know what else to do. This is why we have to tell our stories outside of the District of Columbia, because we need representation from other states and areas to help really kind of support us when it comes to the Congress. And boy, oh boy, everybody has a dumpster fire happening from sea to shining sea right now. So I'm not even sure if us telling you our troubles here in the District of Columbia are going to save us from what's going on. But I think that it's interesting also the fact that we have our mayor who has said that, one, she's not running, but then when people were saying, okay, we get it, you're not running for mayor again because you want to go for Congress, you want to take Eleanor's seat, and she said, no way, Jose, I'm out of here. As a matter of fact, what did she say she wanted to go do? Do a brunch, a boozy brunch, is what she said. They asked her, what are you going to do when you finish with your reign of DC? She said, I'm going to catch me one of those boozy brunches like everybody else does. I said, the nerve, like you don't stay at Martha's Vineyard. all the time. We be seeing them pictures because Cora Masterberry can't help herself. She love posting on Facebook. And if you don't know who Cora Masterberry is, that is the ex-wife of Marion Barry, who I like to bring up the fact was divorced from him well before he passed away. So I'll leave that to myself. 'Cause once again, I gotta walk these DC streets, and I don't want to offend nobody just in case somebody see this later on. So I'll move on. But we see them crab knuckles, Muriel, and them backyard barbecues y'all be having personally. So it's not like you missing out on boozy brunches. So I don't think you're dying to get out of being married so that you can go chug a lug at a bar. But yeah.
Yeah, it's just it's the effects of the Democrats and the Republican Party, and I don't think our system's messed up. I just think that our people with power, people with money are taking over. We have an oligarchy. That's just my opinion. And so I think fixing something that I felt was not broke. It's just more of now we have an opportunity to say that we're not ready to tell you who won, but votes might be casted out, not counted for. And then now you have human hands, which we already have going on in some cities, even with the regular system where people are throwing votes out. Like, how can you be a write-in candidate and win an election? That is very rare. That's why I tell people what's wrong with a write-in candidate to write in. But when they win, you better question how they got in. And it takes money to question. DCBOE on the record, I can show you proof, has lost ballots, have had workers give up, throw it in the trash. History of DC and the Board of Elections changing supervision constantly. But I will say this. It's time for them to look for people to hire to work for DCBOE and educate us, because Ward 7 and 8 and 5, actually 5 has the highest amount of voters. Well, the last time I checked, I don't know if that's changed. And Ward 7 and 8 needs the assistance to be educated on how to use it. Because, people with, I don't know if you remember this, but there was times when a lot of these old mayors would go to St. Elizabeth campus and go feed them and put them on the bus and bring them to vote out.
Nah, that was probably
We have a couple council members that give them fresh fish fries and tell them to come out. It ain't like that no more. Ain't no more feed. You can feed them all you want, but you got to hope and pray that they know how to fill this thing out. And if they fill it out, they don't fill out the whole entire card. And they just say, I'm only putting one person. And that one person doesn't make it to the second round, that person's out of it.
Well, I think that also is kind of like the charge right now that we're here on the candidates, that now you're going to have to really work. You're going to have to work to educate your constituency so that everybody can be informed and they can turn out for you. So it's double time right now, right? And how bad do you want it? Do you care enough to make sure with the insufficiencies that we have with the rollout? Are you going to do what it takes? Are you going to get the manpower that it's going to take? Are you going to hold the meetings that it's going to take? Not just relying on BOE to educate the community. It's going to take a community effort for us to maintain power in the District of Columbia. And I think that, with a lot of people still supporting some of our native sons or daughters, that I'm not saying it's going to be perfect. I don't want to, I'm not Negro Dominus, but I just think that the hustle and the bustle of people intentionally engaging with community, although the outcome is very scary for us, the drive or the push for community to really show up and be one in this is something to look forward to. But you got something?
No, I was looking at the time to make sure we weren't running over time. I didn't know how much time we had. I just happened to look up.
Yeah.
We gotta like
when you get a chance.
Who? Oh, you said Otis. Otis, what's your thoughts on what we're saying?
Right.
Hold on. Would you say you want to put that video up?
Nah, no. We was just having a little small chat with Otis to see what you think about ranked choice voting, and if this would be something that would probably be, if it came to Flint, do you think that it would be useful?
You want us to get work some more, don't you? We having a hard time. Let us first get these, you know, where people can just sign you up and they penmanship and not yours. You can't put all this new stuff on us. We still like in the Middle Ages here. Give us some time to get through this, what we going through. Y'all done went all sophisticated and shit. We can't even get the stuff we trying to do right.
You can't even trust the people to count and put the ballots in the correct way.
Now you hear me.
That's fair. That's fair. All right. Otis said it.
Every city has that issue. I don't care where you live at.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that the people at DCBOE are purposely doing it, but it's human error. And now we're going to have an opportunity about more human error. That's what's scaring me about this.
Well,
Hands on is scary.
It was another video that talked about like the different processes that we have available to us when it comes to voting. And at the end of it, it just landed that there's no perfect process. Somebody is going to feel alienated. There's going to be scandal in every process that we can come up with in the Democratic process for the Democratic process. You know, so like it's damned if you do, damned if you don't, right? But this is what we're dealing with here in the District of Columbia, and I thought it'd be cool to talk about it since it is something that's kind of carrying over. The fact that the foundation is not a big fan of it. I don't know. Kind of just like, well, what is it about it really that they're scared of for this? So a lot of moving parts that we're going to have to continue reading up on and educating ourselves about. And as long as Anna and I are on A10 News Media Group, boy, I had to take a pause for the cause. Boy, I had to breathe because it's scary. I don't even think we're going to make it to 2026, good people. To be honest, between the National Guard.
Like the movie.
Listen, between the National Guard.
We're going to be like the movie.
Which one?
Running Man that just came out. Y'all saw Running Man? That's going to be us.
Hey, listen, we're just trying to tell you our apocalyptic tales, okay? And
now you see me, now you don't.
If DC should ever get blooped off the map, you could tell our story about how we tried to educate the people and tell them how we survived, or maybe not.
But I will say this about DC. Michigan's a little different because Michigan has a lot of high voters for Republicans, but we're a blue city, tend to vote blue. So the Dems were kind of more hurt by it because this allows independents, people that, what in the world is that? Independents to be able to get a chance. So, you know, like on our council, that is Christina Henderson, and I can't remember who else, to be able to be as independents, to be able to get in and vote. But I will say this, Yogi G. I was told in this meeting that the way you catch people is by specifically wearing a certain color. So I'm tired of seeing people taking our purple. Now, PAVE has been using purple this whole entire time, okay? Ranked choice voting used purple. Christina Henderson used purple. Now, Janice George has always wore purple, but her color's purple. So look, just because you see purple does not mean it's a good thing. I just wanted to say that.
I have no more to say. As my levels of anxiety probably have jumped about 1,000 meters right now, just from this conversation alone. I don't know about y'all, but on this,
I'm just tired of funding people's new ideas, and ain't funding people to be housed and fed. Come on now. We can't find money to make sure kids eat school lunch for free or make sure kids don't go hungry. But we can find money. We can go out here and get all this funding to push ranked choice voting. I'm sorry. That's with any initiative. We could put all this money, millions of dollars. I need $1 million to push this, to educate this. And we sitting here with kids that can't read.
Listen, if you are a lover of history, or if you have not, and if you've heard the tale of how America was formed, and so none of this should be a surprise to you. It is old tactics with new faces. And so here we are in 2025, still fighting for our lives. And so onward and upward and still trying to fight the good fight. I don't even know what to say right now, good people. I think I might be slightly blanking out just from stress. But what I will say is that tomorrow is another day. And what we know will happen, God willing, is that Otis and his special guests, whether it's Trevor or anybody else, will be on Monday at 9 a.m. So please go ahead and check them out. And then after that, people, who love the nightly nip, I'm sure Winston and old Otis will be online for you to make sure that you're up on all things Flint related. So,
I
I don't
just
know.
wanted to say thank you for Trevor for coming on tonight, for B. Marie. I was for seeing Marie here, Felicia Martinez for faithfully coming on here. I don't know who else was on the chat. I
I ain't
going was
going.
I going
Wanda
and
Smith,
Wanda Smith and who else was the other person? Sorry, I
uh,
can't see.
H
I will have to
Swag,
go back.
H
H
Swag,
Yes,
Swag,
yes.
O
Thank you,
Shanice
Gamer,
thank you,
Cousins.
thank you, thank you.
D.
Yes.
Gotta give a shout out
Thank you
because we
for
know
all
it.
Ayala.
it
Just thank you for coming out. Um, we need to we need to pretty much make 810 News Media Group's platform to be on the map. Okay. And yes, I have things I'm doing on Sunday, but we're going to get a little bit better getting on here, even recording sometimes. So sometimes you might see a recording of us and it's not live. We're going to try to make it live, but it is football season. I do have a game. Oh, well, next I won't be worried anymore because actually the next game is on the 20th against the Eagles. But anyway, it is actually 8 o'clock, and I don't want to hold y'all up because there's a game about to start. Right? I don't know who's playing at 8 o'clock, but I just want to tell you good night and thank you. Peace.
Detroit won Thursday, so we good. I don't know about everybody else team. Detroit won.
So you came on our last little pity moment on this show just to boast about your addiction to the NFL.
Facts.
And we still
and, and,
live.
and Ohio State lost yesterday, so my day was great.
Close it out, Otis. You got your own show in
Peace.
the morning. Peace.
Peace.